Okay, we're about to go live.
I could make a political joke with that one. So,
Yeah. No one that we know of that we can definitively prove has come back from the dead and told us if it was good or bad or not. But we're live with another episode of BS Busters, and I'm joined by the usual suspects. Well, the lady introduce herself first, then the gentleman, then myself, and then I'll tell you what we're covering, and then we'll dive into these topics. Go!
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, both of all ages to the BS Busters and Billy podcast. I'm Joe A. Munster, and brother, at least we can do something with
Okay.
this week's BS.
All right. Kadoshi.
Hiroshi Ramita here to say good riddance, or potentially good riddance to a certain launcher.
Yeah. This was a Red Fox, owner and proprietor of BS Busters, the YouTube channel that always, not always, tries to point out BS that's going on in the video game industry and give an alternate take on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, what we're covering, the topics we have for tonight, we have 5 main topics plus a decent amount of bonus topics. Our main topics we're covering will be what lessons we want Street Fighter 6 to learn from Street Fighter 5 since Capcom announced Street Fighter 6. And they I think they just got Street Fighter 5 to being halfway decent last year. Bethesda is finally retiring their shitty launcher. Adjacent to that, other Bethesda news, since Bethesda had the rights to Fallout, I guess now they're owned by Microsoft, so Microsoft has the right to Fallout. Amazon.
It hasn't happened yet, but yeah.
No, that actually did happen. ZeniMax which owns Bethesda, is now owned by Microsoft. So
I mean, the effects of Microsoft owning. I mean, I was thinking of Microsoft owning something else.
Yeah, that's Activision.
I was thinking.
Yeah. That hasn't gone through yet, but Bethesda and all the rights that Bethesda and ZeniMax held, they're owned by Microsoft now, which is not good. But anyway, Walton Goggins is a very good character actor, has been hired to play some character in a Fallout streaming series that is being made by Amazon. Filming started last year. There was an amazing Legend of Zelda Link to the Past cross-stitch, which the guy says he's only 75% done, but I will show some footage of it, and it looks amazing. Nintendo Enthusiast is leaving the building. Apparently, their site is the media conglomerate that owns their site is saying we're not going in this direction anymore, so they're going to be shuttered. Atlas is making a sequel to an old game that was actually pretty good, Soul Hackers. And we have some bonus topics. We'll get to those later on. So let's get to the first one. What lessons would we want Capcom to learn from Street Fighter 6? From Street Fighter 5 and apply them to Street Fighter 6. Who wants to go first?
Well, for one, they're already taking a few steps back by essentially plagiarizing art from Adobe. Did you guys hear about that?
No, I did not.
So apparently the logo is plagiarized. They plagiarized the logo. Essentially what they did was look up SF on Adobe, like their clip art store where you can buy their clip art, and basically snagged it and barely changed anything and put 6 on it. So we're already starting off on a couple flat tires here.
And this will lead into one of the first things. Have at least something that's complete so that the audience could like it. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Capcom's been known to heavily plagiarize certain things. For example, the Resident Evil 4 logo was plagiarized from some lady's book.
I mean, that could be the case. For me, my big thing is that I hope that they at least include basic shit that was in Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 6. Like, Can we get a single player mode for the characters? Can we get that? Because Street Fighter V didn't launch with that. Street Fighter V didn't launch with a single player mode.
Yeah, can we get more characters in launch?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can we get the usual suspects, and not have characters added over time? Unless, I don't think you should be able to add characters to a roster unless you already have a substantial roster.
Yeah.
They had a
Say
kind of a
that-
bare bones roster in Street Fighter V. initially.
That they almost went they almost got as few as I think Street Fighter 2's limit, which would probably be 8 if I got it right.
Yeah, OG original Street Fighter 2 had 8. Now, later iterations of Street Fighter 2, I think the final, the later iterations had, I want to say 14 characters.
I think the last number of Street Fighter 2 had 16.
Well, yeah, the one they released on the Switch that had, Evil Ken, because they wanted to give that, I think that had 16, and also Akuma, but I'm not including that because that game was released years after Street Fighter 2 was relevant. I'm talking about when it was really a big thing and there was 5 different versions back in the day in the 4th gen.
I was taking a guess for that far back, so if I'm wrong, 16 is probably a little too many. I mean, for was back then.
Yeah, I think 16 was maybe too much back then, but I think during the 4th, 5th gen when they were re-releasing the ever-loving shit out of Street Fighter 2, I think the max number was 14 because you had the original 8 plus the
bosses.
Yeah, plus the secondary boss characters and the major boss characters. So that was 10. I mean, that was 12. Then you add Cammy, T-Hawk, DJ, who else? The Bruce Lee guy. So that's 14, yeah. No, that's 16. You're right. 16. 16 characters.
I'm just surprised.
Yeah, no, 16. You got it. 16 characters, and then with the latest iteration of Street Fighter 2, the one they released on the Switch, that's the one where they added Evil Ken, so that's 17 characters. So that's that's a decent amount of characters.
Yeah.
If
but then again, this is Street Fighter 5 that we're talking about, and having it be as limited as Street Fighter 2
yeah,
in the past?
I'm saying, the thing is that Street Fighter 5 initially at launch had less modes and features than Street Fighter 2 did back in the day. So all I'm saying is this: if you can't at least do the bare minimum, Capcom, then just put this game, give this game another year in development and add some more characters. Because you cannot have Street Fighter 6 come out as badly as Street Fighter 5 did. Because Street Fighter 5, when it initially was released, was an embarrassment.
Yeah, I was putting an engine. The thing is, I think the game was they either switched engine or they put it in an engine they really didn't know how to use.
If it's the later, oh boy.
There was debate, I guess, in early development on what engine or why they were using the
Unreal?
engine. Yeah.
Probably because it was easier for them to use that engine.
Probably cheaper than creating their own engine.
I mean, but they had been using their own, I mean, this is just me. I wish they'd go back to sprites.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know why everyone wants to do 3D graphics on a 2D plane. The only people I've seen who've done pseudo 3D graphics and done it right is Arc System Works with Guilty Gear and
Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball Z,
SNK with Samurai Showdown, with the new Samurai Showdown, where it was pseudo 3D, but it still looks cel shaded. I can deal with that.
I was about to ask, what about the King of Fighters?
Yeah, King of Fighters. King of Fighters had a moment where
It's a mixed bag for me.
like the
that
stadiums looked good in King of Fighters, but the characters looked kind of like shit. The
Yeah,
3D,
they look
3D
like
models look like shit. Yeah.
they look like PS2 models.
I would say PS1. They did not look good. It was like, and King of Fighters used to have some of the best cell shaded characters ever. It was like, this is great, and then they just kind of like, we got to go 3D. It's like, stop.
Is it? I mean, yeah. I mean, Arc System they did it right. I mean, they use polygonal models. They use polygons
with cells over it, so it looks like a cell shaded character in a 3D space, and it looks good. And they just keep on fucking up. I don't know, but hopefully they will have learned their lesson and it'll be better. I think it would be cool if they added some new modes to Street Fighter 6. Like if they add like an adventure mode, maybe. Like you guys really need to step it up. Like the bare bones shit you guys have been doing for years needs to. You need to go beyond that. Because Street Fighter 5 was very bare bones at launch. And then they added shit after the fact. But who the fuck ever heard of, hey, this is a game you spent $60 on, plus they were selling a $40 season pass. So $100. You spent $100 on this game. And it's missing basic shit that was in previous iterations of this series. And we're going to add it over time. Like basic shit that should be there. Not cool.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Go ahead. Maybe Capcom should give Arc Systems like a Street Fighter side game, like I don't know, Guilty Gear versus Street Fighter, or
that'd be cool.
Like an alpha game or something. I know the Street Fighter characters aren't as powerful as the Guilty Gear characters, but I'm sure you could write a story where, you could balance out their powers. Like, I don't know, maybe some of the characters have developed gear abilities, or get trapped in the backyard or something. I don't know.
No, that'd be cool if they did like a Street Fighter cross Guilty Gear, and they gave like maybe they chose like they chose like the core roster of like 10 characters from Street Fighter, and you took 10 characters from Guilty Gear and had them fight against each other. But you give the Street Fighter character gear abilities, so you've got like Ryu and Ken with gear abilities, and Bison with gear abilities, like all those characters with gear abilities, facing the Guilty Gear characters.
That would be
That'd
weird.
Be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say it would be weird if Ken Masters or Ryu would pull off a finisher on those guys.
No, they basically.
But it would be sweet.
They just basically give them gear abilities that would give them the ability to compete in the gear universe. But I don't think if you were to like death match this shit, death battle this shit like they do on Rooster Teeth. Like I mean, you're not going to beat Saul.
I know what you're saying, but I know what you're saying. It's just that if anything, it would be. I mean, they did try to pull off finishers for Street Fighter characters at one time, though it was in a canceled project that turned into Capcom Fighting Evolution.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against a crossover. I'm just saying, Capcom used to be the king of arcade 2D fighting games, and they have gradually lost that crown because they keep on chasing, instead of refining their craft, they keep on chasing trends. And chasing trends in video games is not, like, eventually it just falls, like, it never works. Like, I haven't seen one game that chased a trend, one franchise or company that chased a trend where it paid off for that company. Eventually they ran whatever goodwill they had into the ground. So, be like Nintendo, do your own damn thing. But with that being said, keeping it moving. Unless you guys have anything else you want to say about what lessons Street Fighter 5 should take from Street Fighter 6. I mean, Street Fighter 6 should take from Street Fighter 5. I keep on getting it mixed up. Anything else you guys want to add?
Every time you get, I was about to say, take a breath every time that happens.
I'm hopped up on that new Coca-Cola that tastes like the stars.
Speed up the fighting. Street Fighter 5 is just too slow.
It should be faster. Street Fighter 4 was slow too. Like Street Fighter 4 was like, this feels like I'm fighting molasses.
I was gonna say that's the only thing I could only. I was going to say that's probably the only other thing could that could probably be adjusted.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not saying that
Hmm.
I'm not saying that it should be like level 8, level 9 turbo for Street Fighter 2 back in the day where it's so fast that you can't even control it. But it should be fast enough that like I
That
think
your reactions could be measured,
well, the fight feels like the fight feels like
like you're missing frames.
well no, the fight it's how can I put this? If I think the speed that Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue has is good enough for fighting speed. Because if you're a casual and you're playing it, you can understand it. But if you're like if you're someone who plays a lot of 2D fighting games, you can play those games and it's fast enough. Because there's some fights in Street Fighter where you run out of time. 30 seconds, you run out of time during the fight. And no one's dead. It's like whoever has the lowest amount of health. It's like you should never have a 2D fighting game where the clock can run out and no one died.
Yeah.
No one got knocked out. That just means your game is too slow.
Only if you're doing turtle tactics.
No, even with turtle tactics, it means your game is too damn slow. And that's the problem with Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5 is that they are too damn slow. Like too slow. They're too casual friendly to the point where the competitiveness and the speed of fighting suffers. But that's my own personal opinion.
And this goes for a lot of fighting games. Take away the rage meter. Like if you're gonna
The super
if you're gonna
moves.
yeah, if you're gonna take the L, take the L. Either figure out how to outsmart your opponent or just take that L. Don't rely on the fact that oh my health is running out. I'm just gonna use this super attack and hope that I cut this person's health in half so that maybe I can have a chance.
Yeah. I hate super moves in fighting games. I've never liked them. I wish they would stop doing that in fighting games. I don't know who originally added them, but I hate that addition. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it. I don't like super
Fighting moves
moves.
your knowledge may vary, buddy.
I mean, I just don't like. Okay, if I'm playing like Smash Brothers, super moves are fun. But if I'm playing like a 2D fighter like Street Fighter or Guilty Gear or Killer Instinct, I don't think super moves should be in those games. Like if you lose, like okay, if you want to make it so that people like really skilled players shouldn't be able to overwhelm
One shot.
overwhelm newbies, then what they should add is a handicap balance meter where basically like if a player is winning too much, they start to their attack like the handicap meter goes up and they start to do less damage with their attacks. That would make more sense than sitting giving people a super meter where it's like, oh well, I'm getting my ass kicked. Okay, I'm gonna spam some buttons and unleash a massive Hadouken. It's to me it feels cheap.
That's the thing. If you want to give him a super meter, give him a super meter that rewards him for being aggressive, which is kind of what they did with Darkstalkers.
Yeah, but then like if you have people being too aggressive, then people don't learn the other ways to play the game. You know, it's kind of like how can I put this? Like one of my favorite games to play is Soul Calibur 2. Soul Calibur 2 has like if you play it really aggressively, you can kick a lot of people's ass in Soul Calibur 2. But when you do that, when you play really aggressively in Soul Calibur 2, if you like, there's a way to get around people who play really aggressively and spam special attacks, and that is using your blade parry or blade clash, which can basically break up someone's combo, and then they're wide open for you to fuck them up. So it's like the more mastery you have, the more you can prevent people from doing that. But you have to have that mastery in order to do it. And how are you going to get good competitively if every time you play you're getting wrecked by people who are better than you? It's like it's a sticky wicket, as they say, a slippery wicket. It's a difficult thing to balance a fighting game because, like I said, Street Fighter is competitive. Unfortunately, even though I kind of like to play it more casual, but a lot of people play it competitively, so they need to balance that out. But let's move on to the next topic. I think we've belabored the lessons we want Street Fighter 6 to take from to learn from Street Fighter 5. Bethesda has finally decided to retire their shitty launcher and migrate their shit over to Steam.
Yeah, it's about time. I
I think there's a meme that talks about how good their launcher was.
It wasn't good.
I used the I had to use their launcher for a certain game, and yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible launcher.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You know, they want to be able to have all the money, and they don't want that 30% cut from Steam. But you know, if you're gonna build a launcher, build something. You know, have something that, say, Steam or some of the other launchers don't offer. You know, don't create a half-assed launcher and then, you know, lock all your games behind it.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Epic.
Epic.
He says that because Epic has a fucking half-ass launcher.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess the
That
one
was
good
quarter
thing about
a launcher.
one good thing about Epic is they always have sales. I feel like their sales are a lot more frequent than Steam's are, but they don't have a rating system and they don't have a cart. I don't think.
No, they just added a cart like last year, but you know,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
basic shit that we take for granted on other platforms. Epic is just adding or has not added yet.
Yeah, yeah. It actually took a long time for Steam to add a rating system too.
Yeah, but I mean, with Steam, they have like even without ratings, you could go and look at the reviews and people would write shit, which is better to me than a rating system. Because like there are games that people on Steam have rated as 1 out of 5 stars, and I'm like, that's actually not a bad game. And there's games that people have rated 5 out of 5 stars, and you play it, and it's like it's actually not that good. But writing like you can't even leave a written review on Epic Games. So you can't even you know, it's easy to look at a review score and say, oh, the review score says this is a 85 out of 100. But that really doesn't tell you anything. That's an arbitrary number. It doesn't tell you what are the strengths or weaknesses of what is being reviewed. And you know, like Epic is missing so much basic shit that the little things that they have where they're like, hey, we're giving away with this free game. That's cool. That's the only reason I have Epic, because they give away free shit.
Yeah.
Or should I say prorated shit that they paid for that they're giving to people who have their launcher for free. Like I'm getting Chris Tales tomorrow. That's a game I was looking forward to, and I was like, I should buy that game off of GOG. I wishlist that on GOG, but GOG wants like $29.99 for it. Whereas I can get it for nothing off of Epic.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm a cheap bastard. What can I say? I mean, I can get something for free for a launcher that I barely use except for a handful of games. Or I can pay money on a site that I actually like a lot of the games I have on there, but I have to pay a lot of money. And I'm like, I'm cheap, all right? People should understand this. I am a cheap bastard. All right? Like, never pay more than you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like that old saying from the Men's Warehouse back in the day where the guy's like, why pay retail when you don't have to? Why? Who brags about that? That's like someone saying, yeah, man, I went to a store and I know that a store right down the street from this store, they're selling this same product for literally 20% less. But I'm glad I bent over and let them fuck my wallet so I could pay more at this store. Who brags about that? Why pay more when you don't have to?
I would say only if the quality is worth it.
Only if, look, it's the same game no matter which platform. It's just one, I'm not paying for it. Epic paid for it and they're enticing people to use their store for free. And if I don't have to pay for it, I'm taking it. Okay? Like quality is nice if something is of exceptional quality. But with games, I mean, aside from platforms, like I'll give an example of quality, right? Like I have put between the original version of Skyrim on this is on PC because I also played and beat Skyrim on the PS3. That was a tough slug, let me tell you, because that game was broken on PC. But I mean on the PS3. But the shittiest version of Skyrim right now on consoles is the Switch version. Because literally, it's the same as the version that originally came out, over 10 years ago, that Bethesda never fixed all the bugs. And you can't open up the code and download patches to fix that game to make it run better. So basically, you get, like, that's literally the worst version of the game. And when they launched it on the Switch, they were charging people $60 for it. If you have other devices to play that game on, I would tell someone, do not get it on the Switch because of those reasons. This is Bethesda released that game and did not fix shit. Like there's still quests that if you don't do them a certain way, they are fundamentally broken on that thing. Because Bethesda don't care. Bethesda, you know, they're like, well, modders fixed this, so we don't need to do shit for it. But you can't fix it with mods on the Switch because you can't mod a Switch unless you void your warranty, and then you'll get your system bricked. So you know, like if you play that game and on the Switch and you go through a quest that's fundamentally broken, that quest is just broken. If you get caught in a loop, you're gonna have to restart your game, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But it's there's like varying versions of that game. Some are better to own than others. But fundamentally, like if you get Chris Tales, it's the same game on every platform. Like another game that's the same, like a Bug's Tale. Like that's the same game on any platform you get. So really, it comes down to which platform is going to give me the most bang for my buck. I.e., it's going to be the cheapest. And a Bug's Tale on Steam, when I got it, was like $4.99.
Yeah.
And Chris Tales on Epic is free. It's free 99, which is even better than $4.99. So I'll be getting that game tomorrow. They also had a Brothers, a Tale of Two. You know that downer of a game where your brother dies at the end. I did not get that game because I don't want to play no downer ass games. All right.
Yeah.
Life is shitty enough. Why would I want to play a downer ass game?
Yeah. Apparently, he took that game. The director of that game took that from his own personal life or something like that.
If that's his personal life sucks. Because I don't play video games to be depressed. I play video games to just unwind and enjoy life.
I was about to say, isn't that the video game equivalent of trying to do an Oscar movie?
No. Because a movie is a passive experience. You're meant to. It's meant to stimulate your mind, your emotions, your auditory and visual senses.
I was saying, wasn't that the equivalent of it?
No, it's not. A video game is a active endeavor. You know.
Yeah.
Which is a completely different thing. It's like I'm not.
And you understand what I'm getting at, right?
No, I get what you're saying. It's like the difference between. It's the difference between you go to a restaurant, to a high quality restaurant, and a chef prepares a sumptuous meal versus, which is the movie example, okay? Versus that same chef saying, I'm not going to cook this meal. You jump behind here are the ingredients, you make it. That's a video game. You're basically taking those ingredients and you're following a recipe that the designer put together to make the game. What they want it to be, but what you do is I mean, you're gonna do something completely different because you're a gamer. You're gonna think differently than the person who designed it. And the guy basically, he's like, he had a certain thing, but
I mean that the game was basically released in order to try to say that this is a piece of art.
No. I mean, he might have thought that, but it was a commercial property. This is the same guy who ran up there during the Video Game Awards 2 years ago or 3 years ago and said, "Fuck the Oscars." To Jeff Keighley. When they made that game where you play the two guys trying to escape from jail by helping each other out, but it turns out one of them is an undercover cop. So there's more going on, and like this guy just loves having games where you have two playable characters working shit out, but then one of them dies or some shit at the end. I don't know, man. It's weird. Anyway.
At least that was the point I was going at.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that he may have been trying to say that, but that was just bullshit, in my opinion. Because I don't think that I don't personally think that games are an art form. I think they're a commercial product. I mean, I won't deny that there are some artistic components to making a game, but they're a product. You know?
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, so Bethesda's finally retiring their shitty launcher, rolling it into Steam, which is great. No longer do we have to be a slave to their shitty launcher, which, like, they don't add anything to their launcher.
I was going to say, was it as terrible as Epic when it launched?
I mean, the Bethesda launcher wasn't good. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. It was basic.
Only Rockstar and EA and Ubisoft can retire their launchers.
Yeah, because they want to collect.
At least you can understand what I was getting at, right?
Yeah, well, I
thought that. Because I thought that the Epic launch. I know the Epic launcher was bad when it started.
Oh, it's still bad.
How bad was it? I was going to say, how bad was Bethesda's launcher?
I mean, Bethesda's launcher isn't terrible. It's just really fucking basic. Like, there's no extra... Like, there is no benefit to downloading the Bethesda launcher. Zero.
Huh.
So, you know, if you can get past the fact that there's no benefit to it, you know... You know, Bethesda's launcher is about as useful as teats on a bull. Okay? Bethesda's launcher, it's basic. It like Steam, like, okay, if you have good old GOG's launcher, you can unify GOG's launcher with all your other launchers so that you can launch your games from one launcher. Steam, while it doesn't have that same, well, it kind of has that feature in that you can link Steam to other games on your PC, and you can launch all your games if you do that through Steam. Plus, Steam has a huge storefront, which has games that some of which are very niche. And you can go and look for those games and play them. So you have a huge storefront with a lot of shit, some of which gets lost in the shuffle unless you're looking for it, but it's there if you look for it. Epic has a very curated storefront. Like, there's certain shit that's going to be there. Like, the big names are going to be there. But if you're looking for little, like, kind of indie style, smaller, like, RPG Maker type games, you're not going to get that off of Epic. There's nothing wrong with that, but, you know, it's just there's certain shit you're not going to be able to get. So, you know, they all have their benefits except for Bethesda, which had no real benefit. Like, the games didn't run better through their store. Like, if you modded their game, certain things would be invalidated through their launcher. So it was like, this seems like some bullshit to me.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to talk about the Walton Goggins thing, or shall we move on to the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past cross stitch, which looks amazing?
I think we could talk. I think we could talk about it for a moment.
All right. Walton Goggins, who is a character actor who's been in a lot of stuff. The most recent thing that I can think people can know him from is he played a piece of shit. He played a piece of shit fake. He played a piece of shit fake preacher in the Righteous Gemstones. He'll soon feature in an Apple TV Plus series, which don't ask me about Apple TV Plus. I don't have Apple TV. Called The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray. It's said that in the Amazon Studios thing, this is a rumor, that Walter Goggins is portraying a ghoul. A ghoul in Fallout parlance is someone who has mutated due to radiation exposure as the result of a nuclear war. So, yeah. And the showrunners of this show are Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy of the Westworld show that was created on HBO. That doesn't bode well because Westworld kind of sucked. And Nolan will direct the pilot episode. And the executive producers of the show are Todd Howard, the game director of Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. Well, neither of those bode well. Because Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 suck.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll be surprised, or maybe not.
I mean, if they're getting actors like Walton Goggins, because he's a very good actor, it'll be trash, but it'll be well acted trash.
Yeah, I guess you got that to look forward to. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it could be good, but probably not because, like I said, Westworld was not good. Like the first season was interesting, and then they got to the second season, and it was clear that no one knew where the fuck they wanted to take the story. So they just spun around in circles over and over and over again.
Didn't they change like one of the actresses in that? Like,
yeah, but they were all androids anyway, so like,
Oh.
If you change an android, it doesn't really matter. It's like, they weren't human anyway. Like they just changed the head out. So, Joel, your thoughts?
Sounds like we got an interesting choice at least.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll have to wait for more to understand it fully.
I mean, they got a really good actor, so it could possibly be good. I'm just kind of like, I don't know how good it can be with with those people slated to it. I'm like, you've got, it sounds like you're getting some good actors, but if you give them shit, I don't know how good this show's gonna be. But Amazon has surprised me because that Jack Reacher show is fucking amazing. So, it's split. Next topic. That was a quick topic. We got through that quick. An amazing Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past cross stitch. This thing looks amazing. I will screen share it so that everyone can see the glory for themselves. And apparently the person who did this is only 75% done. But yeah, they have done the Light World from Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, which is my personal favorite 2D Legend of Zelda game. So, but it looks like they have everything here. They've got the Great Desert. They've got Lake Hylia. They've got the Eastern Fortress. They've got the Tower of Hera. They've got Kakariko Village. They've got the flying weathercock in the middle of the village. They've got Hyrule Castle. They've even got Link's little house. All the stuff you like. It's all there. It's all there. The mysterious woods. And they did this with cross stitching. And apparently the guy who did it's only 75% done, like 74 or 75% done. There was apparently a little bit left. But, like when people say they're a fan, no, you aren't a fan. This motherfucker, that's a fan.
Yep.
You do this shit, you're a fan. Okay? But, yeah, so what are you guys' thoughts on that? Yay, nay, cool, not cool?
Impressed.
That's very detailed. I mean, that looks just like the map.
Yeah.
Pretty mind blowing. I mean, the amount of it took him a couple months just to do the clouds right.
Yeah.
So I don't know how so it had to take like a year or so to get all of that stuff right.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that. My only thing is this looks great. I hope he does the Dark World as well.
Yeah.
Because if he can do the Light World, then the Dark World's going to be even better. Because that's a different color palette and all that type of stuff. But yeah, I think what this guy did was awesome.
I mean, if he's done with it, if he sells it, he could probably sell it for, auction it off. It could probably go for millions since it's going to be a one of a kind. Since nothing out there exists, nobody out there has made something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure people have made like fan made stuff. I'm pretty sure people have made like fan made stuff. That was like Nintendo based, or other fan made stuff that was really intricately made. But this is amazing because of just the amount of detail the guy put into it. I mean, it is amazing.
Yeah.
So I give kudos to the guy. I'm like, this is some pretty awesome stuff right here. And even if he doesn't want to sell it, like if he just wants to have it as a mantelpiece, people, like I said, people always want to say they're fans of something, but you do some shit like that. That's true fandom right there. That person must really like The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, or had a lot of free time on their hands. Either way, or a combination of both. But either way, that's amazing. Kudos. I give him. I bow to his skills. So I guess we can move on to the next topic. Nintendo Enthusiast is leaving the building. That's right, folks. Nintendo Enthusiast is shutting down. I don't know when, but they're wrapping it up.
I think I've been on that side a couple of times for stories and stuff, but
Yeah.
I think it's a site that's been around for a while too.
Over 13 years, I believe.
Yeah.
Their parent company, Enthusiast Gaming, is pulling the plug on them. Oh, sorry, 8 years. It's been around 8 years. And everyone's leaving.
Well, hopefully they're able to find new work.
I mean, these people have a body of work of doing internet journalism. They can point to, look at all this stuff that we made. They have bodies of work they can point to and say, we did this. So they'll be fine, I think. They'll be able to find, their work was published, so you know they'll be. I think they'll be in good shape. So mm. However, if you go to the Nintendo Enthusiast website, they took down the thing that says Nintendo Enthusiast 2011 to 2022. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is a little, if this is an April Fool's thing, they're about 2 months too early.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Atlas is making a sequel to an old game that was apparently pretty good. Soul Hackers. They're making a sequel to Soul Hackers called Soul Hackers 2. Any of you guys ever played Soul Hackers?
No, how is it?
I'm actually curious about this one.
I've never played it. I heard about it. I knew that it originally came out on the Saturn, and I knew they did a re-release of that game on the DS, but I never played the DS version because, as we all know, like, the DS had a metric fuck ton of RPGs on that system. And if you were an RPG fan, you were swamped with RPGs on the DS. So, forgive me if I never got to it. So, anyone have any thoughts on that? Soul Hackers 2?
Curious, but we'll wait to find out more information.
All right. Kenoshi?
It looks interesting. But yeah, it looks like it's I don't know exactly. I remember seeing a trailer a couple days ago. I'll have to watch it again, but yeah, see more information on it, and maybe make a decision about it.
I mean, I want it to be good just because of, I mean, you know, Atlas is one of the few JRPG houses that has consistently made good JRPGs for years and years and years. Because Square Enix is kind of atrophied a little bit in that regard.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe things will work out. Maybe things will be friggin' awesome. And I'd be okay with that. So, yeah. So, that leads to our next topic, which is our bonus topics. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 is coming to PC this year, and the rights reverted back to the new Interplay. So there you go, folks. A game that never came to PC back in the day. It was on the PS2, the Xbox, the OG Xbox, and the GameCube is coming to PC. And it's Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. Yes, no, maybe so. Thoughts? Agree, disagree?
I'm actually happy to know about Baldur's Gates, and if anything, I think I played one on the PS2. So knowing about Baldur's Gate 2, that hopefully will play kind of the same, but then again, it feels like it was D&D enough, but not entirely D&D, but hack and slash too.
Well, I mean, it was basically a Diablo clone. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, let's keep it real. Let's be honest. Let's be absolutely frank. A lot of those clones were a lot of those Diablo clones were pretty good. Like Dungeon Siege was a Diablo clone. You know, and Dungeon Siege was pretty good. Titan Quest, Diablo clone, still pretty good. Diablo clones are still a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, can't go wrong with having numerous amounts of people running around in dungeons killing shit and collecting loot and then fast traveling back to a trade hub, selling off the shit they can't use to buy better shit to keep on fighting to go deeper into the dungeon. That gameplay loop is really addictive.
Hey, it works pretty well.
Yeah. It works as long as you don't fuck it up like Blizzard did with Diablo 3. So good, only the people who made it could fuck it up. So yeah, anytime I see old games that were originally like only on one platform being brought back and hitting more platforms, I'm happy with it because it means that more people can play it. There's a larger audience that can play that game, so I'm happy with it. I hope it works out. I hope it does well for them, and that's it. That being said, let's see. I'm just gonna give my take on the fan remaster of RE4. I played it. It's pretty fucking awesome.
So what do they do to it?
Well, for what they did with it, I'm just gonna tell you. The fan version, the vanilla version of Resident Evil 4 on PC was shit because this is before Capcom actually put care and attention into their PC ports. But two fans went in and basically co-coded the game in order to make it much better than it ever was. Imagine the GameCube version of Resident Evil 4, okay?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you could say that the GameCube version of Resident Evil 4 is like the best standard definition version of RE4. This is the best HD version of RE4 modeled on the GameCube version of the game.
Okay.
Like, if you ride or die for the GameCube version of RE4, this is the best version of that game you can get on PC.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a ride or die person for RE4 on for the GameCube version. I prefer that version. I know Capcom said we're remaking RE4, but is it gonna be as good as the GameCube version? Because the GameCube version was pretty damn good. So, it's gonna be hard to be better than the GameCube version of RE4.
I remember when they ported that to the PS2 and it looked like shit on the PS2.
Yeah, because the PS2, that game, like, RE4 was made for the GameCube.
Yeah.
Like, literally, Shinji Mikami went out of his way to really optimize it for that GameCube architecture. And Capcom, they were like, oh, it's not selling enough on the GameCube, so we'll put it on the PS2. Where it didn't sell well on the PS2 either.
Wasn't that one of the reasons Shinji Mikami left?
Yep, that's why Shinji Mikami left. Yeah, that's why he left.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, we're done. Like, you're turning me into a fucking liar. Even though I made these deals, you're turning me into a liar. Like, Pete Hines was turned into a liar by Bethesda. It's like, there will be no microtransactions. Bethesda promptly releases pay-to-win microtransactions, and they turn Pete Hines into a liar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I wouldn't want to work at a company that would turn me into a liar.
Yeah.
Where I'm like saying shit, and then they do changes internally and turn me into a liar. Because if you're the face guy of a company, people are gonna be talking. I mean, because that's what happened to Colonel Nelson. Remember, Colonel Nelson's like, you can't just press a button and end DRM.
I think that was for The Sims.
No, Colonel
No,
Nelson's big thing with the Xbox One, when all that shit came out, they were like, we don't want this always online bullshit. And he was like, well, you can't just press a button and turn it off. And it turned out, oh, no, we can, they actually deactivated it.
He was the hype man. He couldn't be like, well, maybe, Microsoft's been fucking up. We got, he's just the PR guy. What else was he supposed to say?
I mean, I'm not against. I mean, look, I don't have a PR guy. I'm not against PR people being in, because if you're a big company, you kind of do need people who are trained specifically to deal with the public. But in the case of these people, I mean, your reputation is getting shot in the ass because the people you work for are doing shady shit. And it destroys whatever integrity that you have with that populace.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that you'll be marked as the face of the company, and well, everybody's gonna want to punch that face.
I wouldn't go that far. You're not going to be the face, but people are going to give you going to give you more. They're going to give you more aplomb. Like they're gonna give you more. Um, they're going to give what you say more weight than they probably should because you're the guy who's giving this and who's getting across this information. Because
Yeah.
I mean, when you're a PR guy, you don't have any real control over the internal what's going on internally. Like as Nintendo fans, we were lucky because for so long the guy who like we had Iwata giving our stuff. Well, he's the president of the fucking company, so that's he does have a lot of control over what's going on. But the new people, they aren't that high up in the company. They're PR people. They're just, hey, I'm giving you this information. I worked on a couple of games. They don't have control over the infrastructure or what's coming in the hardware. Or, commercial policies. They just are giving you information. So if a company does something shady or something you don't like you can't get mad at the PR person. They're just the messenger.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not their personal decision for this to be a certain way.
True. It's just that if anything, they're the ones that are the first to see the incoming hate.
Yeah. Well, Pete Hines, he's. Like I said, he should have not been up there talking because everyone knows that Fallout 4 was not a financial bellwether for Bethesda. That did not make a lot of money. And even though Bethesda will never release the numbers, because at the time they were a privately held company, they didn't have to release the sales numbers. I want you to notice something, okay? If you've been following the video game news. Microsoft approached Activision to buy them out after that big, humongous story came out that showed how fucked up Activision Blizzard was, right? Yeah. Microsoft approached all these other companies after they had been in either commercial or financial fuck-ups that hurt the company. So why would it be different for Bethesda and ZeniMax when you realize that they had 4 games that underperformed? Big AAA games that underperformed for them on their platforms. Because
what were those 4 games?
The Doom 2016, the second Doom game, the Wolfenstein game underperformed, Fallout 76 underperformed, and Prey underperformed. The new Prey the new Dishonored underperformed. Dishonored 2.
I'm surprised the Doom game underperformed. The other game, Wolfenstein 2 or Wolfenstein the New Blood?
New Blood. That was the New Blood. They had 4 AAA games that they put a lot of money into. Did not. All of them underperformed. Fallout 76 really underperformed.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, if you're Bethesda and you have 4 games come out within 18 months, 2 years of each other, all of them flop commercially.
Yeah.
And, and then your CEO dies. Of course, Microsoft comes sniffing around the table. Hey, you want to get bought out for $12.7 million or $1 billion? Sure.
I was gonna say, don't you mean that's a shark spilling blood in the water?
I mean, basically, like people see Microsoft buying all these companies. Oh yeah, this is great. Ah,
Yeah.
we might get one or two
There goes
good.
competition.
Well, we might get one or two. Well, no, not even competition, in my opinion. The point I was getting to is Microsoft. Like, even when Microsoft buying a company works, you might get one or two good games, and then the rest of them are shit. And that's basically what might happen with these. Like, you might get one or two good games out of Obsidian, one or two good games out of Double Fine, one or two good games out of Bethesda and ZeniMax Holdings. One or two good games, and the rest of it's going to get run into the ground because Microsoft really doesn't know how to grow IPs. They buy shit, but they don't know how to keep them healthy. So, I don't know. Thoughts?
Nah,
Hmm.
not exactly.
I think I burnt myself out on that one.
All right. Guess we can move on to the next topic. So speaking of companies that just won't learn their fucking lessons, Square Enix says their mobile game division underperformed.
I'm sorry. Did I hear that right?
Yes, their mobile game division underperformed. So basically, they say that they are like the CEO says that they're surprised that people didn't want to play a whole bunch of fucking microtransaction to shit mobile games. I can't believe that.
This is from the excuse me. This is from the same group that brought us All the Bravest, right?
Well, it's Square Enix, so that includes All the Bravest, Triangle Strategies, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, shit like that.
I know. It's just that if anything, I was hoping that was the same person that was part of the group that made All the Bravest, because oh boy, there is words to be said.
I mean, if it's a mobile game, yeah. Now, that being said, like, sales arose. I mean, the net sales rose within its mobile division due to changes in accounting policies, which means they changed how they counted the numbers, so it seemed like they made more money, but it still underperformed.
I was gonna say, isn't that something that happened when we were talking about Sony a little bit when they had certain numbers not to show, or is that Blizzard with their World of Warcraft?
Oh, that's all these companies. You know, the only company I have seen that's honest when they fuck up with their numbers is Nintendo. Nintendo's like, yeah, the Wii U, it's fucking up. We fucked up. Here are our numbers. And, you know, I admire a company that can actively admit we fucked up. Here are the numbers. When a company starts hiding numbers and changing how they count shit in order to make it seem like it's not as bad as they expected, I'm like, you're hiding something, aren't you? You know? It's like, imagine if you went to a school and their students are failing, and instead of saying, hey, our kids can't pass this test, they can't get over 70. So instead of us doubling down and trying to essentially teach our kids better, we're gonna lower the grade average. We're gonna lower the grade, the passing grades, so that instead of it being, you know, if you like a D minus is a D, is a 70, we're gonna make a D minus a 65, because our kids can get a 68. That's basically what they're doing. It's like, oh, that doesn't bode like it's not gonna. That doesn't bode well. But that's Square Enix for you, folks. Your guys' thoughts on this?
Maybe stop putting so much effort in your mobile division and put more effort in games people want to play.
Yeah.
Like the idea that I think a few of these companies have the idea that mobile is just going to be easy money, but neither Apple doesn't really care about games that much, and obviously Google doesn't really care about games that much. So maybe stick to platforms that actually care about games. I don't know.
Yeah, or just make a really good mobile game. But they're not going to do that. Like, why put a lot of effort into something? Because I've played some good mobile games. I've played mobile games that are legitimately good, but most of them are not legitimately good. Most of them are fucking trash. So
Yeah, and those games usually end up coming to Steam or the 3DS
yeah,
or PSP or you know any various
they go to hardware.
dedicated. Yeah,
They go to
yeah,
dedicated hardware. Because like one of my favorite mobile games is Puzzle Dungeon, and Puzzle Dungeon, the original Puzzle Dungeon, Pixel Dungeon, came to Steam.
yep.
And a Pixel Dungeon fork called Shattered Pixel Dungeon is coming to Steam for like
Yep.
$10. I mean, like, at a certain point, like, mobile, these mobile games are just kind of getting left behind. I don't know why these companies are like, yeah, we gotta cater to mobile. It's like, I know you guys think you want easy money, but you really don't. Because if you wanted easy money, you would put some effort into it to make it sustainable, but they aren't. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna nerf this game so that it's got tons of microtransactions and shit. And if you don't like it, tough titties.
And I think what it was like a handful of mobile games that actually made it big that I can remember. There was Candy Crush. There was that Flappy Birds game. There's another big game that I can't seem to remember that just
Plants vs
made oodles.
Zombies,
Yeah, probably. That made oodles of
Flappy
cash.
Bird, Angry Birds.
Angry might have been Angry.
Oh, those beeping bird games.
Actually, I played Angry Birds. It's actually not that bad. I mean, I wouldn't,
Oh,
I wouldn't, I wouldn't like. It's perfect for being on mobile or smartphones or tablets.
yeah.
Like, I wouldn't go out of my way to play Angry Birds. Like, I wouldn't sit down and be like, man, like there's certain gaming experiences that are perfect for being on a smartphone.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got little kids and you want them to shut the fuck up for 5 minutes, and you hand them a tablet and say, here's Angry Birds, that's perfect. But like, I wouldn't go out of my way to play Angry Birds. Like, if you put any other game in front of me aside from Angry, if you're like, hey, you can play Angry Birds or you can play this JRPG, I take the JRPG or the platformer or the trading sim over Angry Birds. But if you got to kill like 5 minutes, like, you go on a date with your girlfriend and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, I'll be gone for like 5 minutes. You're like, well, shit, I'm sitting here waiting in line. I just pull out my phone and play a smartphone game for 5 minutes. Like, something like that. It's nothing where I'm like going all up my way to do that shit, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. Speaking of bad news, this wasn't a segue. Dragon Age 4 executive producer has left BioWare. Christian Daly, who took over executive producer in 2020, has left in 2021. Sorry, 2022.
Excuse me.
2022, sorry.
I was about to say, that's a fast turnover. What the heck is going on in that group?
Is he the brother of Carson Daly?
No. And I'm sorry, that was not a good joke. That was not a good joke, sir.
That was cheese.
I'm gonna be like Richard Pryor Jr.'s boo you, boo. Yeah. I mean, Like, this is supposed to be BioWare's big return to brand game that's supposed to come out in 2024. And the guy who took over as executive producer couldn't make it a full 2 years.
Makes you wonder what's going on in that company, right?
I would say BioWare's in trouble.
It's a sinking ship.
I mean, normally I would disagree with you or make a counter argument, but I mean, when you have people in important positions leaving like this in the middle of production of a game, yeah. This is not good.
If somebody's leaving in the middle of the product being made, and they're one of the key parts of it, you might want to pay attention to it.
Yeah. And, I so wanted BioWare to get back on track, but apparently that shit ain't happening, so...
If this turns out to be like Anthem, then heavens help us.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be as bad as Anthem, because Anthem was trying to do too much shit that they really didn't have the resources to do. Like, they wanted to make, like, a Battle Royale game like Destiny, but, Destiny has like, whether you like Destiny or not, Destiny does have a core gameplay loop that works. Anthem had no gameplay loop that worked. Like, it was like Anthem, like, and when you asked BioWare to explain what is this game, even they couldn't fucking explain it. That's like
I was about to say the best that somebody could explain is like you're being like Iron Man, but a space marine as well. I think that's the best description I heard so far.
They couldn't even. That wasn't even that was coming from other people. If you ask them people to say, "Hey, what's going on? What is like if you ask any other game person, okay, what is the point of this game? Give me a general like elevator pitch, like under 2 minutes about what this game is. They can tell you. No one at BioWare who was in charge of Anthem could tell you what the fuck the game was supposed to be about or what was the point of it. Like every other BioWare game, even back in the day, you could tell people, like if someone said, "Hey, what's this game about?" in general, they could tell you. Like someone said, "Hey, man, what's Jade Empire about?" It's a martial arts epic set in a fictionalized version of martial arts era China. And you play a martial arts student who has to get to the bottom of some weird goings-on in the gameplay setting using martial arts and Asian influenced weapons. That's the game. You could do the same thing with Mass Effect, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Origin, Dragon Age Inquisition, Baldur's Gate 2. You can do that in all those other games. But Anthem, it's like, hey, what's the point of Anthem? You fly around in mechs fighting stuff. And you collect loot from fighting stuff. And
I'm surprised that they didn't say that it's a looter shooter that you could fly in and try to do all kinds of cool things in the air.
Well,
because that probably would have been a better description than what they probably pitched.
It was not good. It was not good. It was like literally like I mean like there are two games made by BioWare that should be a lesson on how not to make games. Dragon Age Inquisition and Anthem. And you think that and Mass Effect Andromeda. So 3 games that they should be like if I taught a class on game design and both on the creative side and the business side of making a video game, all 3 of those games would be, I'd be like, yeah.
Big book of don'ts.
Yeah. because I mean that's what you do when you take when you learn about shit. It's like okay, we're gonna break down why this thing happened, and these are the signs of like how this should not be done, or why you should be worried about these things. And I'm surprised that BioWare is still, because if this was EA from like 20 years ago, BioWare would have been shut down.
Yeah.
Anyway, that being said, anyone else have anything else they want to say before we wrap things up? I don't think we have any other extra stories anyone wants to cover.
Oh, I saw Spider-Man last Saturday, and the plot was dumb, but the movie was still enjoyable to watch. So
Agreed.
I don't know if you guys have movies where it's like, man, this plot's stupid, but I still enjoy watching. I still enjoyed watching it.
I mean, that's a lot of Marvel films.
Yeah.
I mean, that's most superhero films in general.
I was going to say that it was entertaining, but it also made me scratch my head or hold my head with a headache, because as a lore person, oh God, you're gonna have a while to untangle what happened in that movie.
I mean, the one thing that kind of bothered me with it is that, like, with Spider-Man No Way Home, is that I think this cements this, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Peter Parker has to be the shittiest version of Peter Parker we've ever seen. Because, like, every version of Spider-Man has gotten his Uncle Ben killed, right? Like, Tobey Maguire got his Uncle Ben killed. Andrew Garfield got his Uncle Ben killed. Tom Holland got his Uncle Ben killed, but only Tom Holland could also get his Aunt May killed too. He literally got. So I think this is the shittiest version of Spider-Man we have ever. Like, in terms of being an effective Spider-Man, he's got to be the shittiest.
Yeah.
And all because of his own selfish need. I want to go to college with my friends. Now you got nothing. You don't have an Aunt May. You don't have an Uncle Ben. You don't have any friends. And Mary Jane and Ned have forgotten you. And you can't even go to the same college as them because people don't remember you graduated from high school, so you had to get your fucking GED.
Oh God!
Loser! You are a loser!
Thank you for giving me more headaches, for reminding me of how bad that timeline gotten.
He brought it on himself.
I mean, seriously.
He brought it on himself.
I know. That's what makes it worse. That he edited the timeline to make it worse for himself.
No, he didn't edit the timeline. He brought it all. If Peter Parker had just said, "Look," because in the first act of the film, most of his shit, because basically Daredevil comes in, Matt Murdock comes in, and gets him cleared of you murdered Mysterio. Gets him cleared of that. He's like, "Look, I'm gonna have to earn. They see me right now as a vigilante, and they hate me. I'm gonna have to earn their trust back again." But no, I'm going to go to Doctor Strange, and he's going to use magic to fix all my problems, and there will be nothing, no cost.
That is the reason why I had a headache.
Yeah, he should have.
Because of all the magic used for that purpose.
He should have taken that L.
He should have been like, they're just going to hate my ass, and I'm going to have to earn their respect again. Which is what he should have done. But no, he wanted to have everything. He wanted to have everything and not pay any costs for it.
That's why I have a headache trying to figure out that storyline. As a lore person, no less.
Well, I mean, they fucked up the lore because this is the Marvel Cinematic version of Spider-Man, not the... if you want to get the closest to the original story Spider-Man...
That's the thing. Even when I was trying to keep it in the... idea of the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yeah.
the lore is screwed up hard.
Doesn't Spider-Man get his Aunt May killed in Civil War comics?
No. No.
Oh.
No.
No.
No. No,
That's
what happens
As
is
I said,
in
I was
Civil
trying to
War,
keep it all in the cinematic universe of trying to figure out how that timeline works.
in Civil War, he unmasks himself because they wanted to, for story plot devices, even though one of the major no-nos about Spider-Man, this is why people got pissed when they did it, is that Spider-Man, one of his big things is that I will not tell people my secret identity because there's people around me who don't have powers who can be killed. And immediately when he unmasks himself in the Marvel Civil War arc, the Kingpin puts a hit out on Aunt May.
Yeah.
Wilson Fisk, and she isn't killed, but she's grievously injured. She doesn't die, but it's like, oh shit, this is why Spider-Man hides his secret identity. And J. Jonah Jameson has a heart attack and sues Peter Parker for fraud, which he should, because Peter Parker was taking all these pictures of Spider-Man and getting paid for it while also being Spider-Man. That is fraud.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, basically, it's like,
I was going to say that it gives me a headache when trying to keep it in even one certain specific timeline of sorts, and that's why I feel like I have a headache when I try to figure out that movie when organize it with the others.
If you're a fan of the comics, you might as well just not really try to compare them to the cinematic universe. That's a whole different thing.
No, you can't, because I mean, basically, each iteration of the Hulk has been weaker than the comic book version of the Hulk. Like, the closest you're going to get to how powerful the Hulk is in the comics is the original Ang Lee's Hulk. Then the second iteration of the Hulk, done with Ed Norton, the Incredible Hulk, is like a weaker version of the Hulk. Then the Hulk in the Avengers is even weaker than that version. Is weaker. Well, he's slightly stronger than Ed Norton's Incredible Hulk, but still, like, with each iteration, the Hulk keeps on getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker with each iteration. You can't compare it to the comic book version of the Hulk, because comic book Hulk is like
powerful.
He breaks the Marvel universe. He's too strong.
Yeah, that's
he renders the other characters unnecessary.
I was going to say, the only restraint for that Hulk is his other side. And that only could last so long.
Yeah. Here's some breaking news, folks. Someone modded Carl C.J. Johnson into Tekken 7.
That's pretty.
Did I ask how he plays?
And here's something cool. He can be played he has the move sets of Miguel, Steve, Jin, or Brian, which means he has all the different fighting styles, like the equivalent fighting styles of the different fighting styles he gets in San Andreas, where he starts out as like a brawler, like a street brawler, and he can learn like dirty boxing, like official boxing. Then he can learn like kind of a taekwondo type thing, and then finally he can learn dirty boxing. And so basically, like, you can get CJ from San Andreas into Tekken 7. I might get that game on PC just so that I can do that.
That's fine.
I honestly have to be impressed.
Yeah. This is why modding is important, folks, because you can add all types of weird new gaming experiences to games that you just can't do that on consoles. Or you can, but you void your warranty and people get angry. Or you get a whiny little bitch
Your
like the
mileage
director.
may vary.
Like the director of Final Fantasy 15, who fucking was like, if anyone mods anything into Final Fantasy 15, I'm going to quit the industry. I was like, whatever, you bitch. Anyway, back to Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man was Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm not gonna say it's not my favorite Marvel movie. Like, if I had to pick my top 3 favorite Marvel movies of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would have to say my number 1 is still Winter Soldier. My number 2 is Black Panther. And my number 3 is Civil War.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite Marvel
Respectable.
films. Endgame was nice. Like, the 2 Endgame movies
I was gonna say
nice.
it's
Infinity War
a
was
popcorn
better.
filler right there.
They were event films. They weren't good with because you had to have all this investment and all this shit leading up to it in order for them to be good. But you can watch Civil War. You can watch Winter Soldier, Black Panther, Civil War by themselves and enjoy them. And they're legitimately well-made films.
Infinity War, I thought, was better than Endgame.
Now, see, I have the opposite feel. I think Endgame was better than Infinity War. Like, I know what they were doing in Infinity War. They wanted to have, okay, Thanos has snapped, has killed half the people in the universe. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I could agree with Red on this one.
Like, you're trying to make a statement,
really,
but the heroes are going to get their shit back together in order to win in the next film. So for me, I didn't feel that sense of stakes in Infinity War. I was like, okay, we know what's going to happen because they had Thanos knock out the Hulk in the first act of the film, and I'm like, okay, you basically have depowered the Hulk to where he's a bitch. So we don't have everyone else. If the Hulk isn't fighting, then no one else is going to be fighting. They're all going to get railroaded by Thanos, which is what happened.
Yeah. Which kind of breaks the point of the Hulk, really. I mean, the movie's good, but they really had to sack some good characters in order to do it.
Well, they had to nerf a lot of characters because it became the Iron Man show, which is why I don't really like the films that really, the reason I like Civil War is because it finally had Tony get the ass whooping he should have had years ago, and Bucky and Cap had to give it to him.
Yep.
It's like, you need this ass whooping. Your daddy couldn't give you this ass whooping, but we'll give it to you. Come on. Hold him down. Pow! Because Tony, I'm telling you, Endgame is great because they defeated the greatest villain of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Tony Stark. Because Tony Stark is the greatest villain in the Marvel. Now, that mantle has been passed over to Stephen Strange. He's now become the greatest villain of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, starting with Spider-Man No Way Home.
That's funny to put on Strange with only one movie.
No, but you have to remember, you have to remember, it started at the end of Doctor Strange, his movie, where you discover that the reason that the Ancient One was able to live so long is because she basically made a deal with Dormammu. That's how she was able to live so fucking long. And so basically you had I don't like this version of Baron Mordo that they have, but he's right. There are too many magicians. There's too many magic users. And then you have, No Way Home, where Doctor Strange uses a combination of a time spell and a mass memory spell in order to blank people's memories. Everyone on a planet, casually.
Essentially causing widespread brain damage.
Yeah. Targeted brain damage to make people forget one person. And in the process, he starts the process of different universes melding. That's why No Way Home is important for Multiverse of Madness, is because what he did in No Way Home, Strange did in No Way Home, starts the process of these different other dimensions fusing into the one that exists within the MCU. And that's how they're going to bring in the Illuminati. That's why in the trailer for Multiverse of Madness, you have Professor X like Doctor Strange in handcuffs coming to like another universe's version of the Illuminati, and you have that universe's version of Professor X. I'm guessing at the end of Multiverse of Madness, that's how they're going to explain the mutants coming into that universe. It's because it's just like our universe merges with another universe, and that's how you get the X-Men and shit like that, because they're mutants.
They had. I guess this was just a way to figure out how, since they have, 20th Century Fox, now they have to figure out how to implement the X-Men.
Looks like it's going to be awesome, though. I mean, you're going to have the Illuminati. You're going to have another version of Iron Man. You're going to have maybe the Sorcerer Supreme from another dimension. You're going to have Professor X. They might even introduce a version of Namor, because I think he was a member of the Illuminati, and Black Panther and Black Bolt. So there's a whole bunch of shit they can introduce from the comics in this new universe, and it could turn out well. Hopefully, knock on wood. So that being said, got kind of nerdy at the end, but I'm always up for a comic book discussion. That's the end of this cast. Anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
Yeah, Project Console, 7:30 Tuesday, Eastern Standard Time. See you guys next Tuesday.
All right.
Yeah.
Joel, anything you want to pimp out?
So far, I'm all right now. But if anything, hopefully I'll be all right at the end of this week. So if anything, thanks for joining us for the BS Busters Movie Podcast. If you want to catch up with us, then don't forget that we have Discord, we have Twitter, we have email. But if you want to wait for us to show up next time, the next time is 7:30 Saturday.
That's correct. We have a podcast every Saturday and Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget to see Kenoshi's podcast every Tuesday, 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Peace, good night, and